In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we're expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at advertise@k98talk.org. The leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. Well, perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple.
It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground.
We have serious problems to solve, and we need serious people to solve them.
Republicans and Democrats.
All right, folks. Well, it's Saturday morning. You know what that means. It's time for Finding Common Ground. My late-to-his-own-funeral host will be with us here in just a moment. Actually, here he is popping his head in the door right now. All right, just one sec, folks, while we get squared away. All right, Bryce, right now you can hear me. But I will not be able to hear you. Since I knew you were coming in hot, I had everything muted. So, good morning, sir. How are you? You should be able to talk now.
I am good. I just was setting everything up and I realized, oh God, it's not going to work because my computer's dead. So I went frantically looking for my charger and, there it was next to my bed, but I didn't notice that.
Freaking teenage slacker. Always wait till the last minute to go, oh, something's not working.
Hey, I'm a millennial. What can I say?
No, it has little to do with millennial and more to do with the fact that you're a teenager. Teenagers of every generation have basically been exactly the same. Oh, it's the last minute. Crap. I remember. I was one once too. Okay, so how are you? What's new in your world? We haven't really had much of a chance to talk over the last couple of days until you went like all ballistic and stuff in the green room last night, which I thought was hilarious, by the way.
Yeah, I was having a good time with that.
I think
that
you
was
annoyed quite a few people, though. You might want to make sure you get to know those folks a little better before you start trying to provoke a fight.
I wasn't provoking a fight. I was just responding with, good terms.
Well, no, there was one time where, it'd be different if it was like me, you, and Dave, and a few other folks that you've worked with a lot. When you said, typical Republicans run away from a fight. I was like, oh, God, he's going to die.
Well, that was a joke. That was a joke.
Yeah, but they don't know you well enough yet to know that.
Oh. My apologies to everyone who didn't know that. No, this was honestly all provoked by a quote that I read online by Nick Hanauer, the venture capitalist. I'll read it. It says, "Since when did it become radical to expect giant profitable corporations to pay their workers enough to live without food stamps? Taxpayers are subsidizing companies like Walmart. It isn't cap, it's socialism for the rich." And I like that quote. It sparked me to mention what I did when everyone started bagging on me for being a lefty.
But it's fun to bag on you.
Yeah, I know. Of course it is.
I mean, you're a lefty. That comes with the territory.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, completely kidding. But, it was an interesting discussion until we had everybody trying to chime in all at once. That's the one bad thing about a large room like that. You get everybody going, it's really hard to keep up. But, that being said, one of the points that I was trying to make actually will kind of dovetail into a story that I sent you. Since when is it our problem to decide who makes enough money, and why is that the government's issue as well?
I don't think that I definitely don't think that it's anyone's decision if you made enough money or not. But I think there's a moral obligation, or there should be some type of legislative obligation to at least make some type of percentage range where if you're a CEO making X amount of money, then your workers should be at least making this amount. Because here's what I did in my research. I was writing an economics paper for my AP macro class, and what I found was that Walmart is costing the U.S. $6.2 billion, taxpayers, because we have to pay for almost half of their workers because they're on welfare and food stamps, while their CEO, the Waltons family, is taking home $33 billion. If we took $1 billion of those dollars, we could give 100,000 people a $10,000 raise and get them off food stamps.
So bear with me for a second, because then I'm going to give you my take on it. But, you mentioned something pretty profound there, the whole moral argument. So basically, what you're saying is we should legislate people morally what they do with their money.
No,
come on, think about what you just said. There is a moral obligation, and if there's not a moral obligation, there should be a legislative obligation. So basically what you're saying is people should have their morals brought into more alignment with yours, whether it's by choice or by legislation.
Yeah, I think because it's the right thing to do. Look at what Andrew Carnegie did.
So hang on. I wasn't done with my point, because here's the thing. This is the thing that drives me crazy with you liblabs. It's okay as long as we're bringing people more in line with your morals, but we can't legislate morals when we want to, say, gay marriage.
All right, but here's the thing, though, Rick.
No. Don't change topics.
I'm not.
Where's the answer? Why is it okay to legislate people when it's in line with your morals, but it's not okay when it's in line with mine?
Because I don't honestly believe that these are your morals. Here's the thing. Your party was the one who supported workers' rights in the 1950s. Your party was the one who championed the labor unions.
Okay, you're backpedaling because you're still not answering my damn question. Here's my problem. I haven't yet told you what my morals are. I'm telling you, how is it your responsibility to hold everybody in the country to the same moral standard? Because that's exactly what you guys keep taking us to the mat for over and over and over again.
Simply because we have a moral disbelief. I don't believe that gay marriage is wrong, therefore I don't think we should legislate against it. I think it is wrong.
And I think that when you take a job, you know what you're going to get paid. You sign a contract agreeing to take that job. If you don't like what they're paying you to do it, then find a job somewhere else.
And this is the point of democracy. We try to find who will believe with who more, and then we vote on it.
Yeah, except you want to legislatively bring companies' morals more into a line with yours, which is the same thing that you keep pounding my party for over and over and over again on pretty much every single issue that you can find. My point is, it's always okay when the beliefs align with yours. I've never taken that stance. I've told everybody from day one, no, I do not support gay marriage. I will never support gay marriage. This is even with the fact that I have people that I have known for decades that are gay because I worked in the gay community for 13 years. I have family members that are gay, and I have point blank told them, I love you, but I cannot support what you do because it doesn't align with my moral beliefs, but I will not hold you to that standard. The problem is, your side doesn't do the same thing when it comes to this type of stuff, because there are plenty of us that have said that for years. I don't want the government in anybody's bedroom. I don't care what they do. As far as I'm concerned, the government should be out of the marriage business all the way around. But when it comes to this moral obligation crap that you guys like to throw out when it fits your agenda, my problem with it is, if it was up to me, everybody would follow a Costco-like business model. But I can't make everybody do that.
Here is my problem, though. Again, I know that when my morals don't align with yours, yes, there's obviously a disagreement. And yes, I want to push this country more in line because that's what I think is the right thing to do. I think that, for someone who's giving the religious argument, that's why you don't believe in gay marriage, is what I'm assuming, religion, that's morals, then you would also agree that somebody should not be making so much money while everybody else is not. That's in Scripture.
No, where? Chapter and verse.
I will find it right now. But there's many times where Jesus is talking about how, what's the exact quote? It's, those should not go to bed. I'm finding it right now. But we have seen many times in the Bible where Jesus is talking about not being rich, giving up wealth.
Yeah. Okay. I can't disagree with that point with you. But again, Jesus gives everybody the option to make a choice. You're taking their choice away.
Because they've taken away everybody else's choice to actually make a decent living.
No, they haven't. Nobody said you have to go to work at Walmart. Nobody said you have to go to work at McDonald's. How is that taking your choice away? Nobody's taking your choice away. Okay. You make choices every single day. Let's face it, most of these people, and I'm not trying to down anybody, but I'm about to get hate mail over this. Most of these people are the same ones that used to party all night in high school and sleep all day in class. And now they don't know what to do with their lives. That's not my problem. They made choices when they were younger that they now have to deal with. And there are plenty of folks that have gone through and spent $60,000 to get a liberal arts studies degree, which is freaking worthless, and now they're working at McDonald's. How am I responsible for their poor life choices?
Because I don't believe that's the case. For most people, I don't believe that that's what it is. I genuinely don't. And if it is, then we need to
So you remove the outliers, and we could still probably knock off about 20% of people that are currently working well below what they could be working if they would basically apply themselves.
No, I think that a lot of the people who work at Walmart, there's an ad playing.
I need some
Hang
clicks.
on. It doesn't go away for 5 more seconds.
Choice clicks
4,
right here,
3, 2, 1. Good. Okay. No, what I'm trying to say is that I think that you have single moms, single dads who are working at Walmart trying to get their kid through school. I don't think that those are jobs that are taken on by, the pimply teenage high schooler or dropout college student.
But why is that? Why do we not have well-paying jobs anywhere in this country anymore when you really stop and think about it? We don't have manufacturing anymore.
We have a dictator who's selling our soul to China and the rest of the Pacific coastal countries with the TPP. I mean, jobs, the assumption is that, look, we don't need those jobs. Manufacturing jobs will never come back. I think that's a big mistake. I think if we increase the production of technology and we invest in technology rather than awful trade deals, then we could, by and far, put higher tariffs on trade coming into this country, something that Donald Trump wants to do, actually. And we could cut the cost of production in this country. It's amazing. Let me just give one last example. I'll toss the baton back to you. My girlfriend's dad works at a company. He works on the line at a factory for Stryker. And I was having this conversation in my AP Macro class again, where the TPP under this assumption is that we don't need factories anymore. And it's the assumption that we'll be fine because we're in school and we're all going to go to college, and then we're not going to need factory jobs. Those factory jobs are for the plebeians, the peasants, and we're going to send those to those poor countries where we can get everything for $1 a day. And I ask myself, we might not get affected, but what happens to the people who work at that factory?
Oh no, you're going to get affected. Trust me.
I know I will, because when they lose their job, they stop buying things.
But here's the thing. Right now, you're laying this all at Obama's feet. I'm telling you right now, this has been happening by design for decades. Somebody back in the late 60s, early 70s decided that we were going to be the money changers of the world. Those same people that Jesus went into the temple, threw over a bunch of tables. Yeah, they decided they wanted basically our country to be those guys. And when they did that, all of a sudden they started finding cheap, more economical ways to get the manufacturing jobs done so that everybody here that would focus more on, higher paying jobs and doctors and lawyers and service industry jobs would make more money, so then they would have more money to spend. So basically our entire economy right now is a cyclical syndrome of hell, because basically we have to make money to spend money so we can prop up our economy. And somebody along the way had a very bright idea that was going to be the future of America, because we had become the trade capital of the world, and we were going to monopolize that and make sure that we were here forever. The problem is it's not working. It hasn't been working for quite some time, because there is this little problem that nobody wants to talk about. After World War II, there was a group of folks that got together and decided that we had to make sure that no one country could ever try to take it upon themselves to wipe any other country off the face of the map. So they decided to start intermingling and intertwining all of our economies. Do you want to know the real reason why we really haven't tried to win a war since World War II? It's because we can't. Because all of our economies are tied together now. So if we completely obliterate a country, which is what war is supposed to do, you destroy them and then you rebuild them, or you let them rebuild themselves, everybody's economies crash. That's why we haven't gone balls to the wall in a war since before Korea, because we can't anymore. And the whole problem is, as we continue to ship more jobs overseas, that economy becomes reliant on our manufacturing jobs, and then we become reliant on being able to buy those products cheaper, because everybody keeps doing things to make sure their profit margins stay where they feel they need to be, which is part of the problem. I'm not saying that it's not, but what I'm saying is we can't hold everybody to the same standards. Because then when we do that, somebody decides to change the standards.
Real quick, and I will respond to that, I have to read you the chapter and verse from the Bible, the one I was thinking of. I actually found it. Proverbs 22:16. He who oppresses the poor to increase his wealth, and he who gives gifts to the rich, both come to poverty. Now, to me, when you are making $33 billion and you don't give any to your workers, and you then give money to campaigns, to people who also are of wealth, to keep their power going so you can keep your wealth going, then that, I think, applies. And I think it's time...
Okay, terrific.
Yes, it is terrific. I think we have a moral obligation. That's all I have to say. I'm sure there's more quotes where that came from, but whatever. And to what you were saying, I mean, yes. But the thing is, I think we do need a globalized system.
No, we don't.
But I think we need to be the leaders of it. I think
not going to happen.
No, I know it's not going to happen. But
which is why we don't need it, because it's not going to happen. But on to your whole idea of because this kind of dovetails pretty well together with what we're talking about right now. There's an interesting story that I found that I linked to you on Facebook. Everybody on your side of the fence talks about Sweden and how great Sweden is and how Sweden should be the model for how everybody does things when it comes to democratic socialism. Except, in 2011, 2012, Sweden was one of the worst countries for illegal immigrants. There were actually articles that I could find that quoted illegal immigrants that were stating that they were afraid to leave their homes because they were subject to instant deportation. So, the problem is, at some point along the way, all of that changed. Dateline, October 13, 2015 at 5 a.m., and this is from the Gatestone Institute. Sweden, no apartments, no jobs, no shopping without a gun. So this is an issue that's been going on for a while. Apparently there was a double murder in an IKEA store. So now everybody's all freaked out and not wanting to do much of anything to go shopping without some sort of a gun. But that's not even the biggest part of the problem. Sweden has had a 48% tax rate, I believe. For some reason, my eyes are kind of being a little crazy today. For quite some time. And everybody, when it was first considered, was like, hey, that's great, no big deal. We'll pay the money now and get it later. The problem is, at some point, Sweden's ideas about illegal immigration have changed. Now, all of these people that are flooding across the border, that have never paid into that 48% tax rate system, are now getting government-subsidized housing, government-subsidized health care. So all of the people that are now no longer able to work, that have paid the 48% tax rate for their entire adult lives, are having difficulties finding homes and jobs to support themselves, since the government can no longer do it for them.
Mm-hmm. So, here's my problem with this, is that this is an immigration issue, and I don't think it's a welfare issue.
No, but no, hang on. You cannot compartmentalize things like that, because here's the problem. This is something that nobody thought of when they made that 48% tax rate, because at the time there was no illegal immigration in Sweden. So they're like, no big deal. We'll have the money. We'll be able to use it. But the problem is, this is what happens, because decades down the road, somebody else comes in and says, hey, we should take pity on all these poor fuckers that are coming across the border and make sure that they have schools and houses and clothing and cars and everything else that they need, because we're much better off than they are and we can afford it. And this is
what Jesus would do.
Really?
It is.
No.
I mean, we have to stop taking economics into mind here, and we have to start doing the right thing. That is the right thing to do. Fuck economics.
Are you kidding me right now? You are telling me that you would rather make sure that your grandparents starve than feed and feed someone who came to this country illegally, because that's what's happening in Sweden right now.
Why are they coming to this country illegally? Nobody's starving, first of all. Nobody is keeled over because they couldn't find food, because food was too expensive, because inflation or deflation wiped out the supermarkets. That didn't happen. What the problem
Not yet.
We have illegal immigrants, and you know whose fault it is? It's our fault. We are the ones who destabilized this entire region, and we screwed up everything. So now everybody's flooding out of their countries because we can't beat ISIS, because we don't win at anything anymore. Just like we were just saying before, we don't win. So what's happening? All these refugees need to get somewhere safe. I don't blame them. If we were them, wouldn't we be doing the same thing? Trying to get to somewhere that they would accept us, where we can start a life over again? I mean, it's so... This sad how children, grandparents...
Oh my God, here come the feels and the feel-bads and the, oh my God, we should pity these people. This isn't even about our country, Bryce, but this is the direction that we are heading, because we have Bernie Sanders filling up freaking football stadiums, so even if he doesn't make it now, somebody like him will make it down the road. And 50, 60, 70 years from now, thank God, when I am probably long dead and gone, please, for the love of God, please, there will be some idiot standing up telling us that we need a 60% tax rate because we are going to start taking care of all of the illegal immigrants that come into this country, no matter how they get here. And then 50, 60 years down the road from that, there's going to be a bunch of people standing in line waiting for bread and everything else, because we won't be able to sustain it anymore. And Sweden is starting to see the beginnings of that now in a 3-year swing. 3-year difference. And they already have people that are complaining because they can't find anywhere to live because the government's giving all the immigrants all the apartments.
Let's take... this is how I would break this down. We have a problem. Sweden, however, yes, of course. This is why I always disagree when I'm labeled, a total socialist. Now, I believe in a lot of free market aspects. And I think...
What is your major malfunction, numbnuts?
I believe in a lot of free market aspects. I believe that, if we made our healthcare system totally free market for the middle class and wealthy, and then we made it single payer for the poor, I think that'd be a great way to sustain it and keep it going. Because I don't want people paying for things in the future, putting it on a card. That's exactly what we do all the time with Social Security. I don't think it should be like that. I think Social Security should be you pay it for yourself in the future. You have your own account. That's it. You have to do it, but that's it. But here's the problem, though. I hate this whole narrow mindset. Well, it doesn't fit our current economic standpoint, then we can't do it. We can't help these migrants who it's our fault that they're leaving their homeland because we couldn't do a good job protecting,
My God, are you still talking?
So I think it's wrong. Yeah, I'm done talking.
We're not going to agree here because you're looking at the short term. I'm looking at the long term. This is exactly what when you first started talking about Bernie Sanders months ago. Wasn't I the one that told you that eventually, if somebody like him gets elected, we're going to start having problems much like are already starting to happen in Sweden? Months ago, before this story ever came out, I told you what was going to happen. And it will happen because we all govern basically the same way. We are short-sighted, dumbass individuals who think all we've got to do is make sure that the people right now are taken care of. We don't look at things that are going on down the road. The simple fact of the matter is, if we make the swing to democratic socialism, eventually at some point we're going to run out of everybody else's money, and then we are going to be we're already almost there now. We're so far in debt because of the programs that we've started that have been run the wrong way for forever, because they've become a key voting demographic. Vote for me and I'll give you more free crap. The whole point...
Welfare is such a smidgen of what our budget is. It's nothing. It's a peanuts for everything that the United States government pays for. It's nothing. We want to talk about the big things that we can cut from is the disgusting amount we spend on a inefficient military that, again, doesn't win. We have a problem not with helping people. We're not helping people enough. We spend so much money and waste so much money on charging people for goods and subsidizing goods that they don't need, that the free market would do so much better. I mean, have you seen the FDA standards on certain types of food? It makes it so that perfectly good food is never sold, and that food goes to waste, which drives up costs for consumers. So I really should be paying like 10 cents for a freaking apple, but I pay more. There are such ridiculous standards that...
So wait, hang on. Did we suddenly switch places?
I'm confused. Why?
Because you're lambasting government regulation. I'm confused.
Yes, I am.
Wait, hang on. You cannot freaking have it both ways. You can't tell me that you want the government to regulate what people do with their money and what they do with their time and what they do with this and what they do with that, but we need to do away with regulate. And okay, and let's not forget, in your mind right now, if I compare two separate conversations we've had in the past, which, sorry, I rarely forget things, so this happens quite often. EPA good, FDA bad. What the hell?
Okay, well, the FDA is bad, because it's probably one of the most corrupted agencies around. I mean, the head of the FDA...
Hang on. And yet, you want to increase the government's control of our taxes when you've just admitted that one of the largest agencies this government has is corrupt. Does not compute.
Well, here's what I'm trying to say. It's not that it's not computing or not that it's not, correct. It's just that, yes, we need to generate more money, but I don't think it needs to be significant. I think, the tax bracket the way it is probably the way it should stay. I mean, we should probably organize it more.
You want a quick way to make sure that we don't ever run out of money, and it's never going to happen. The first thing you do is you have whoever the sitting president is go through the line item budget for the last 4 years until it's completed, and you figure out where we're spending the most stupid money, and you cut whatever that is. And it's gone. It's done. It doesn't happen anymore. Like $50,000 for a toilet seat, $20,000 for a hammer. That kind of stuff needs to stop. That's step number one. Then you put in what's called a fair tax system because it's consumption-based. Even if you set it at 16, 17% across the board, if you can legally prove that you are working and you're not being paid for cash under the table, then when you go buy something, you pay a 17% tax that goes straight to the federal government.
Yeah, why not? I mean...
Now, if you are working below a poverty level line and you can prove that you're legally working, then you get to swipe a card and you don't pay anything at the register. But all these people that are panhandling, that are making money under the table, that are getting paid cash, that's what's slowly starving our economy in nickels and dimes, and nobody wants to focus on it. So we need to change the tax system. But the problem is, nobody's going to do that because they like the system the way it is, because it gives them control. Obama has shown that over and over again during his administration, because he keeps using the IRS to target the people that he doesn't agree with. And holy crap, I just realized we blew through the first break, so we have got to take one now.
All right.
We will be right back, folks, and continue the discussion as soon as I can get the clip to load.
It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground.
The internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Good God, y'all.
Last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Wondering why you're up early with us on a Sunday morning making a cocktail? News lately got you drinking? Hung over from the mainstream media by Sunday? We are, and we got you covered.
We sure do. We got your hangover cure for those weekly news blues. So sit back, top off your mimosa, and add some Baileys to that coffee.
Take a match to your copy of the New York Times. Light, funny, and oh yeah, news with booze.
And a lot of laughter.
Welcome to Bloody Marys and Broadsheets.
The staff of K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network is proud to announce that our very own Rowdy Rick Robinson has been selected as one of the top conservative talk show hosts in the nation for his program America Off the Rails. Again, congratulations to Rowdy Rick Robinson for a job well done and another reason to stay connected to K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network.
Our military service members volunteer to protect us in the most dangerous places around the world. They step up. And when they are severely ill or injured, returning to their families is only the beginning of their long road home. Wounded Warrior Project provides these brave men and women whatever they need to continue their fight for independence at no cost for life. So now it's time for a grateful nation to step up. Join us at findwwp.org.
It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground.
All right, folks, we're back. We're live. We're into the last half of the Finding Common Ground show. Since we didn't take the first break, first of all, I want to give a shout-out to one of our sponsors. That would be concealandcarry.net. You can find them on the website. It's pretty easy to do. Put a www. in the front. The word conceal, the letter N, then carry, then .net. If you are looking for ammunition, weaponry, or training, I advise you to go there first. They have a network outlining stores and shops and training centers that are available in all 50 states. So no matter where you're listening to us from, unless, of course, you're overseas, because we do have some of you folks out there as well. Speaking of which, big shout out to the military servicemen and women that I know listen to this station every day. I haven't done that in a while, but we can tell from IPs who's listening from where. And either we have some ISIS fans or we have some military fans. I'm going to pray it's military. All right, so anyway, what we were talking about before break, and actually, I had another bit of an epiphany while we were on break. So far, we've talked about how we could actually start fixing the problems that everybody wants to argue about. First thing is, figure out what's going on with the government's budget and fix it. But we're not going to do that because everybody wants to fight and argue over the budget because that's how one side or the other gets votes. So can't fix it because if you fix it, you don't need the government. We could fix the tax system by basically doing away with it pretty much altogether because with the technology that we have in place now, we could basically have a use-based system where everybody that spends money pays a certain amount at the register that is earmarked for the federal government unless they're below a certain economic level and can prove that they're working legally. That, again, can't fix that because if you fix it, don't need the government. But here's the other thing. This whole legislating morally and trying to force people to pay people more money, there's a really easy way to do that too.
Okay, how?
Even with the consumption-based system that we're talking about, there would still probably be some sort of a corporate system for taxes.
Okay.
So what you do is you set that tax rate at a crazy amount just because. I'm not saying Bernie Sanders crazy, but maybe 40-45% corporate tax rate. But then what you do is you say for every X amount of employees that you pay at least 30% above the minimum wage, we will drop your tax rate by X amount of percentage points. It's called the carrot approach, not the stick approach. Those are 3 really quick, down and dirty ways to fix what's broken, but nobody's going to do it because they don't want it fixed.
I mean, explain this a little deeper. This carrot approach. It interests me. I'm a little confused with it.
Okay, so we've already basically outlawed most of the at this point, we've changed the entire individual tax code to a flat rate, or not a flat rate, but a use-based system. So it's basically consumption tax, which is the only way to really make sure that everybody's paying what they ought to be paying because the folks that are spending more are paying more, the folks that are spending less are paying less. Well, we still have a corporate system to deal with, so we can either put them on the same sort of system where instead of, say, paying 13%, when they go to buy their goods and services at the corporate level, they have to run a number, and they get hit with 40% every time they buy something. Or you can leave it at a 40% tax rate, and they still have to file at the end of the year. But what they can do is every quarter, because they still have to go through and do their quarterly paperwork, if they can justify that they have X amount of employees that they're paying a minimum of, let's say, 30 to 40% above minimum wage, whatever that minimum wage may be, they get a certain number of points off of what the percentage rate is, whether it's a flat filing rate or a register rate or a use at purchase rate. It's the quickest, easiest way to fix all 3 problems because you're rewarding people, you're covering all your bases because everybody that's been panhandling for the last 60 years that's never paid a dime in taxes all of a sudden would have to pay taxes. Even if it's the guy who bummed $20 to go buy a bottle of alcohol, he's going to have to pay taxes on it. Unless you can prove that you are legally working and that you are in the system, then if you're below a certain amount of money, you swipe a card at the register, you don't pay any taxes. But the simple fact of the matter is that 3-prong approach is never going to happen because that keeps the people that are currently in power in power. They don't want the system fixed. They want it broken. That's why Sweden is going through what they're going through right now. Because at some point, what they're going to do is bring everybody to the point where they have no choice but to go running to some central government body of the world and say, you have to help us fix it. We broke it. That's the plan. It's been the plan all along, and we have not ever been the ones designed to be at the head of that plan. That is my biggest problem with all of it.
Yeah, that's why I always said get rid of the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, don't get me started on the Federal Reserve. If our money was still backed by something tangible, this wouldn't be happening.
Well, in all reality, I mean, I let's have this conversation, because I'm always been the one who's anti-Federal Reserve. But then when we say, let's back it with something, I think, yeah, of course, let's do that. But can we? There's a lot of problems that come around with backing it behind them. I mean, this is something that JFK tried to do with Executive Order 1110, which I think got him killed. But
you think? No, I'm pretty sure that's exact. Well, I don't think it was necessarily just that executive order, because he stood right there in front of the world and said, there are lots of things going on that you don't know, and I'm going to make sure that you do. And then shortly after that, he was gone. So,
did I spark you to, like, look this stuff up? Because I remember I was talking about this, you're like, I don't know much about it, but okay.
Yeah, I was feigning ignorance at the time because it made your side of the story more entertaining.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. So,
well, I mean, I did do a little bit more research after the fact, but his story has always intrigued me, because it was just, I mean, come on. I mean, how many times in history have there been presidents that were assassinated? So I started looking into both Lincoln and Kennedy. There were all kinds of things going on behind the scenes in both administrations that nobody ever wanted to talk about. I'm still a firm believer that that even Lincoln was assassinated for more than what we think, because of some of the stuff that I had uncovered about him, or that's actually in historical writings about him wanting to remove basically every freedman from the continent and let them have their own place and ship them out there forcibly. I think in both cases there were things going on in both administrations, that there were certain people that did not want those type of things to see the light of day, and therefore that they were both taken out. I mean, there's just too many inconsistencies with both.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's definitely something that we're looking into, because the Federal Reserve approach, I mean, you could see how the one who controls the wealth controls the power. So I definitely think that, yeah, there's definitely something up, being that he wanted to break it up. And I'm sure there's even more that they do that we don't even know about. So, I don't know. It makes me kind of eerie about our own country. But I like to not think about it too hard. Now, let's have the talk.
Wait, hang on. You left a shot. I have to take it. Not thinking about it too hard, isn't that the liberal approach to everything?
Rick plays dirty. Let's have this talk. I'm just reading the headline. As Russia bombs Syria, U.S. pulls aircraft out of Persian Gulf. Do you think we're heading to another world war? What's going on? Because usually when we call things, they happen.
So, hang on. Let's back up, because this is pretty much something I called months ago, and all of you, Dave, Steve, and even you, looked at me like I was crazy. About 6-7 months ago, wasn't I the one saying how, we're pulling back and nature abhors a vacuum and somebody's going to step in? Wasn't that this guy? Yeah, pretty sure it was. And that's exactly what Putin's doing. He's basically stepping up and trying to make Russia the front player in the world again, because we've decided we don't want to be the front player in the world again. And he's been secretly behind the scenes going to places like Israel and China and everywhere else and saying, hey, comrade, is that America really? Are they your best possible ally, or should you be working with me, comrade? Because I will take care of you.
You sound more Arab than you do Russian, but okay.
Well, that's okay. I don't do impressions. That's Jason's job. And yeah, I realized it about halfway through, but I was like, yeah, screw it. Already doing it. Whatever. But anyway, so, here's the thing. Nature abhors a vacuum. It's proven over and over and over again. And we're watching it play out in politics, because laws of nature still apply, even in politics. When we stepped back, somebody was going to step in. In one region of the world, ISIS started stepping in and filling the void that we left behind, because we decided, we did what we came for. We're done. Screw you guys. Whatever. Hindsight 2020, I really wish we would have left Saddam alone, even though I do believe the intel about him having weapons, because we can find satellite evidence that everything was moved to Syria before we ever went in. My problem with it, knowing what we know now, I wish we would have left him in place, because he was stabilizing the entire region. there were other ways that we probably could have dealt with it, even though I was supportive of it at the time. The problem is that was the first domino. Then we have the problem of Americans have become this society of everything has to be wrapped up in 42 minutes, not counting commercials, and dinner has to be ready in 3 minutes or less from the microwave. So we don't have the stomach for long-term things anymore. We haven't. It's been proven over and over again that we just don't give a damn if it takes longer than 5 minutes to get something done. We're not interested. And that's just proven over and over again, time and time again on the world stage. So everybody lost their stomach for what it was that we were doing, and then we propped up this idiot who's there now, who has no idea what he's doing, and spent the first 3 years of his first term in office going around apologizing to the world about what a bunch of asshats we were, and all we're doing slowly but surely is being made to look like even more worthless, weak-minded asshats, because now Russia is basically stepping in everywhere that we're leaving and flexing their muscles. So yes, I think we are probably in the beginning stages of what will ultimately be World War III. I'm hoping it's several years down the road, but I don't know.
Interesting. I mean, no, totally. I mean, I don't think I would disagree with you much here. I mean, we have what I like to call the pussification complex, where we're all becoming a bunch of pussies. I mean, it starts like socially, where we have, you know, all these names for everybody on every freaking application. You can't even ask if you're a man or a woman anymore. You have to have every freaking option under the sun. And then now everything is about like hurting one another. So we can't flex our military might because it's mean to another country who would gladly kill us. Right? I never understand that one. How we have to adhere to all these people in the Middle East who would gladly take mine and your life because, you know, that's their way. So to me, it's bizarre. But.
So just for the record, what I want you to do as your homework assignment, as your teacher, what I want you to do is at some point this week, I want you to go back and listen to the very first episode of Finding Common Ground that you did with me, and then I want you to go listen to this one, because I'm telling you, I'm swinging you more and more to the right every day, brother. You just don't realize it.
You know what? I'm a weird liberal, but it's true. We have a pussification complex in this country where we're just moving ever more to being like little girls. And you can't even say that anymore. I mean, because that's derogatory. Do you remember during the Super Bowl, they ran a whole commercial about how you can't say you throw like a girl? Someone literally wasted like $1 million or however much it cost for a freaking Super Bowl commercial and aired that. Don't say you throw like a girl. It's ridiculous.
Why not? If you throw like a girl, you fucking throw like a girl. I mean, you know. But here's the thing. And again, right now, I don't know if you're channeling me or what's going on, but I'm starting to think you've had some prolonged exposure because we're sounding an awful lot alike today. It's kind of scary.
It is a little scary.
But anyway, but here's the thing, and you're right. We have become a society of participation trophies.
It's true. That is the best one. There was some football player who actually recently, or maybe it wasn't recent, but I read about it recently.
No, it was fairly recent.
His sons were playing football, and they didn't win, but they got trophies for participating, and he took them away. Good. Take them away. You didn't earn anything.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are slowly witnessing the conversion of a liberal to a conservative.
I will never fully turn conservative economically.
Nobody's ever fully conservative, genius. That's the whole point. I mean, there are the demagogues on both sides. Don't get me wrong; they do exist. There are people that are really, really far left. There are people that are really, really far right. But most of us live in the middle. What I've been noticing, though, is the more time that you and I spend together and the more discussions that we have, a lot of your overall mindset is shifting a little bit more to the right. And honestly, that's fairly normal. There's an old quote that the only person that I know of that it doesn't really hold true for is Dave. As a liberal, if you're a liberal when you're young, it means you have a heart. If you are moderate as you get older, it means that you're learning from life. If you are conservative when you get older, it means you have gained wisdom. Because the truth of the matter is the truth is always in the middle, but there are certain things where conservatism works. One of the things that is important about conservatism is we try to teach people, yes, the government is here to help you if you need it, but you shouldn't need it. Because you should rely on yourself. You should pick yourself up. That's part of what we're losing with this participation trophy BS. Nobody realizes, hey, it doesn't matter how hard I try because I'm still getting a trophy. We have an entire generation of people that grew up with participation trophies. These are the same people that are all screaming that they want $15 an hour because it's what they were taught in school. It doesn't matter how hard I try, I get the same result.
Yeah, no, I mean, I learned it firsthand. I definitely did. I still have it qualified by the state of New Jersey's learning disability. So I have what's known as an IEP, an individualized education program or plan. And what that means is that when I was in elementary school and middle school, if you failed the test, you got to retake it. So if I felt like, I got 3 wrong, I would fail the rest of the test just so I could retake it and get a better grade. I learned how to cheat the system. But then I realized if I wanted to go to, a good school or stuff like that, then I would have to start, taking the conservative approach and working hard for myself. And now, hey, I'm in all these AP classes and I'm champion. But no, I definitely understand where you're coming from. And I definitely agree with a lot of it, that we need more personal responsibility. I mean, we are definitely becoming a society that is more and more reliant on an ever-growing government. My problem is in the interim, before we can transform our country, we need to have the government take on and clean up what it has done over the past 40, 50 years to ruin this country, which is making money off student loans. Look, I'm sorry, but that's the next big housing bubble. That's going to kill our economy one day. We have to pay for that. The government has to step in and say, all right, you know what? We're going to go back to how it used to be and have significantly reduced education costs, or it's going to be free public education, because we can't do this. Education is an enabler, and it gives people the opportunity to make money. We need to stop spending so ridiculously on stupid programs, and we need to stop spending on this overbloated military. We need to have the number one military. We don't need to have an inefficient one. And for the love of God, we have to take better care of our planet. I mean, that is going to be the biggest economic hit. And Michael Bloomberg said it's just the way you and I...
Hang on a second. I just want to throw this out there. Nobody that is rationally on my side of the aisle is saying that we don't need to take care of our planet. What we're saying is a lot of what is based in science in your side of the world is not exactly what it is purported to be. And I'm glad you brought this up, because I meant to bring this up earlier. Because, we had this discussion once about NASA and where NASA gets its funding. Simple fact of the matter is NASA is a government agency. And in order to get their funding, and in this administration, it wouldn't surprise me at all, especially since there are now stories being leaked about how military agencies that work out of Florida have been tasked with promoting propaganda. Otherwise, they're going to have issues with the current administration, because basically they're making shit up that's not happening and making things in our side of the war with ISIS seem better than they actually are. My problem with that is, again, being completely distrustful of the government and knowing that NASA gets its funding from the government. I have problems with a lot of their climate change models. I'm not saying that we don't need to take care of our planet. I'm just saying... Hello?
Sorry. Yeah, hello.
I'm just saying there have been more and more stories and studies that have come out showing that a lot of what the UN has been using as their model, which is what a lot of our models are based off of, was nothing but a bunch of fear-mongering. So that's my point. If we really want people to honestly realize what it is that we're doing to our planet and how we can help make sure that it doesn't happen to future generations, we need an honest, unbiased approach and study that tells us exactly what it is that we need to do. Because nobody that has a rational thought in their head is saying that we don't need to take care of our planet. What we don't want is yet another very corrupt government agency, a la your FDA discussion earlier, aka the EPA, telling us every little micro detail of how we need to run our lives, which is what they're starting to try to do.
No, yes. But here's the thing. I'm going to disagree with you. I think the science is very well out. I think it makes sense. It makes perfect sense to me that, if you put CO2 up and it starts to make a ring around your atmosphere, then that explains why we have more CO2 in parts per million in the atmosphere, which retains more heat. But hey, we don't have to agree on that. Fine. But everybody can agree that we want clean drinking water, we want clean air, and we're not going to achieve that through coal, through fracking, through oil spills. We're not going to get there with that. So I think at the end of the day, the moms of the world are going to come together, and they're going to say enough is enough.
That was a sexist comment, sir.
Well, I hate you, Hank. Enough with the pacification of America.
That was kind of a double entendre, racist comments or sexist comments, sir.
It was. Was.
Talking about the moms of America saying enough of the pacification? Really?
Wow, I didn't think about that before I said that. Interesting. Well, anyways, I do think that the moms of America, the ones who care about their children, the mama bears, are going to come and say, look, that's it. We can't do this anymore. You can't frack on our farmland.
So you're saying we're going to become matriarchal? Is that what you're saying?
Sure. I hope we do.
You would. You do realize that technically means Caitlyn Jenner would be part of the ruling class now.
Yeah, how would that work?
Bryce, would you throw on a skirt just to get some power? Is that what this is about? You've always really wanted to wear a skirt, and now you're going to get your chance.
Yeah. Guys, my name's actually Caitlyn, which is another thing we are totally ridiculous about. Why are we giving this lady so much? Why are we giving her so much attention? Who cares?
I have a question. She still has the twig and berries, so why are we not only still calling her, but she's already been legally changed to a her? Because last I checked, if you still got the twig and berries, you ain't a her. I'm just saying. All right, but actually at this point, we are about out of time.
Oh, jeez. All right. This was a good episode. We blew through it a lot.
Yeah, you said blue.
Oh, my God. Want to stick around for Opinionation?
Sure, why not?
All right, sounds good.
All right, we're going to change gears, folks, and then for, I think, the first time ever, I am actually going to be guesting on Bryce's show. Be right back with you here in a couple minutes while we switch roles and he takes the driver's seat, and then I own him in his own house.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. Well, perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple.
It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground.
We have serious problems to solve, and we need serious people to solve them.
Republicans and Democrats.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.